I'm doing a little work today to boost the immune system. I know most of you have done a class with me in the past around, excuse me, the lymphatic system and um, getting the lymph to move really well in your body, which of course is a piece of your immune system. And then we're also going to do some breath work today that's really helpful for cultivating well-being on lots of levels, mind and body. So a couple things about the breath. So you've probably heard me say this before, but it always bears repeating that, especially when we're wearing masks all the time, that we have this. Um, I don't know about you, but I feel like I breathe through my mouth a lot more when I'm wearing a mask than when I'm not wearing a mask. And I know that I've heard that from a lot of people. Yes. So, one of the things that you can pay a lot of attention to when you're wearing a mask is just simply trying to keep your mouth shut, gently closing your mouth. So, nitric oxide, if you're not familiar with nitric oxide, it's a chemical that's produced in your sinuses. So when you breathe through your nose, the air travels all through the chambers of your sinuses, and it picks up this nitric oxide. And when nitric oxide touches to the breath you're breathing, it has this beautiful twofold quality. First of all, it's an antimicrobial, so there's an essence to it that's purifying the air before it comes down into your lungs. So if there's any challenges with infectious agents coming in, it can help. And the other thing that nitric oxide does is it is a broncho and a vasodilator. So it helps to open up, open up your lung tissues so that you can prepare for deeper capacity for oxygenation. And the other thing that happens when you breathe through your nose, besides getting a nitric oxide bath, is the turbinates, the sinuses have lots of cilia that trap all sorts of things, pathogens, as well as dust particles, things that are in the air. So breathing through your nose is a really healthy way. Really, we should just be breathing through our mouth as the extra secondary choice, and try to have as much primary breathing through your nose as possible. I know that some people have tried putting a little piece of tape, kind of like this, right across your mouth, especially when you're sleeping, because a lot of people end up being, yeah, Christine's tried that. A lot of people end up being mouth breathers when they're sleeping. So a gentle little piece of tape can be an encouragement. I mean, you don't have to duct tape your mouth shut, but you can have an encouragement to remind your mouth that its primary job is not to breathe. Its primary job is to laugh and smile and eat and drink and talk and all the things that we do with our mouths. So those are some good things about the breath. And then the other thing that happens when you breathe through your nose is it stimulates your diaphragm better. So of course, the diaphragm is the primary moving muscle for your breath. And when we breathe through our nose, the pressure gradient that's there is a little higher. So it stimulates the diaphragm to be strong, to not be lazy in our breathing. So there's a lot of really beautiful things that happen. If anyone's read the book Breath, it's a great book. I highly recommend it. But I remember an antidote in there where in some culture, I can't remember where it is, it's considered very rude to keep your mouth open while you're breathing. And so kids are, like teachers will smack the chins of students, like keep your mouth shut when you're breathing. Like it's taught to young children to keep your mouth shut while you're breathing. And of course, we don't have that in our culture. So just a reminder, especially when you're wearing a mask, that these things are really helpful. Okay, so go ahead and sit up straight and tall. And, remember the lymph loves movement and the lymph loves warmth. So if you want to make sure you're a little extra warm in your practice today, this is something that can help you instead of being chilly. Okay, so close your eyes and ground yourself. See what it feels like to drop some weight in the sit bones, reaching into the earth. Feel into where you are connected. Okay, what's touching the ground right now? Where do you feel pressure? Wherever that is, whether it's your ankles or your sit bones. Feel into this state of being able to ground yourself. Can you drop into the bones without sinking? Can you feel that yielding also gives you the impetus for an updraft through your body, that it's not all downward energy? As you feel the sense of broad base below you, relax your legs, your hip flexors, and then find your spine. Feel the extension and length without prodding or pushing, like you can blossom your spine open gently. From there, notice your breath. Let's try breathing through our nose and sense into the cavernous, beautiful cathedrals of your sinuses. All this surface area for nitric oxide to commune with the breath. Feel into knowing the traveling of air. Can you sense it move through your nose, through your sinuses, down into your trachea, into the bronchi and bronchioles, all the way to the alveoli? See if you can saturate your lungs. No pushing, no prodding, just like pouring water into a soil for a plant. The saturation. Can you feel the oxygen saturation in your lungs? Melt any tension across your skull, the base of your skull, your eyes, your tongue. Feel into the diaphragm and the way the belly receives the diaphragm. Can you feel into the way the pelvic floor receives the diaphragm? Open collarbones, broad spine, broad chest. Place your palms together at your heart and bow in. All right, and then let's go ahead and stay seated for a moment. We're going to take your right hand and take your thumb and your ring finger, or if you're more comfortable, your middle finger. Traditionally, it's a ring finger thing, so maybe try that and see if it's comfortable. Lift your sternum and just drop your chin just a little bit. You don't have to have this tight band across your throat. It's just a little teeny bit of compression. And we're not going to do alternate nostril breathing. We're going to do that later. But right now, we're going to have hold both nostrils at the tip, at the very top of your nostril, not at the tip, at the top of your nostril. We're going to hold about 20, 30, no more than 50% closed. Okay, so start with less. You can always add more. And we're going to breathe through both nostrils at the same time through this narrowed passageway. Remember, any pranayama that you do not want to have feeling of stress. A little bit of breath hunger, like it's good to feel a little bit of breath hunger. It's not good to feel breath starvation. So know your balance point. Breathing through both nostrils at the same time. This is great to give a little extra work to the diaphragm, a little extra pressure to kind of move the oxygen that you're pulling in really well. Feel the difference in your sinuses as you do this versus when you were breathing without that constriction on the passageways. That, just a little extra pressure on the garden hose, right? Forces air with a little bit more oomph into your sinuses. It forces a little more oomph to be in your diaphragm. So enjoy. A little bit of breath hunger is good. Breath starvation is bad. We're breathing in and out through the nostrils, about 20% closed, 30% closed, maybe halfway closed, 50%, no more. The face is relaxed, the jaw is relaxed, shoulders are relaxed, the eyes are relaxed. You're still feeling that sense of grounding through the pelvis and the blossom of your spine. All right, and then on your next exhale, let's go ahead and let that go. You can release your hand and just enjoy a couple of breaths here in a nice, easy posture. Feel the fullness, the ease of your breathing. And then let's find our way into our practice. So come to lay down on your back. Okay. So as you're here, think about, what it is that you need for your mind, your body. What is your practice? Do you have a sense of an intention or a focus for yourself? Remember that this hour is just for you. It's not for anybody else. This beautiful time that you set aside to be present with yourself. So let's lie down on our back and stretch the arms overhead and just enjoy. Okay, what naturally happens? Do you want to stretch the right side and then maybe stretch to the left side? You can reach your foot and your hand away from each other. Just open up the sidelines of the body. Feel into the space for your rib cage. All right, and then bring your knees into your chest and let's rock a little bit from side to side, swaying. Okay, let's circle the knees. All right, bring your knees up, keep them together, and let's just circle them. And then as you're ready, you can circle the knees the other way. All right, and then let's open the knees up and then bring them back in toward each other. So just feel into that sense of opening the hip joints a little bit. Stay with the breath. So we've done some work now to open up our breath passageways. Gentle closure of the mouth, nice open sinuses. All right, let's put your feet down onto the ground. Knees are bent, palms out to or arms out to the side. And just start to drop knees left and right. Okay. Then maybe add the arms to the equation. So as your knees drop left, maybe the right arm stretches up and out. Maybe you turn your head, just feel the side body open. And going back and forth from one side to the other. All right, and then let's starfish. So spread your limbs wide. Reach into your fingers and your toes, touch them out to the very edges of your awareness. And then knees into your chest. Pick your head up and give a good squeeze. Okay, let's do that a few times. So opening your body out to a C-star shape. And then exhale to draw the knees and head and chest up, curling in on yourself. Preparing the spine and the whole body really for movement, kind of getting to know where your edges are, where your energetic and physical edges are in the body. And already we're working with the lymph here. So the lymph loves to open and close the pits of the body, the armpits, the elbow pits, the groin pits, the knee pits. So just something as simple as moving through our starfishes is a great way to start moving lymph around in your body. Relax your head. Let's roll over onto your side and come up onto your hands and your knees. All right, as we start to find our way for some cat-cows, first remember that you want to ground. You want to have this sense that you're feeling the earth. So yield before, let's have a little yielding practice before we start moving the spine. So drop weight into your right hand, soft elbow, and then push off that hand and drop weight into your right knee, and then over to your left knee, and then over to your left hand. And remember, those elbows have to be unlocked to really receive the earth and to push off the earth. Same, the knees, the hip has to be a little soft to receive the give and take from the floor. Okay, so just going back and forth, feeling the weight move into one set of bones and then into another set of bones, feeling the stack of your joints, the stack of bone on bone to support your weight. And then go the other direction as you drop into, now right foot to right hand, to left knee, foot, knee, then back over again. So just feel into the way, wherever you're grounding, whatever weight is sinking into the floor, we reach into the ground and then we rebound off. So it's a sense of yield and then push and then reach. All right, and then stretch back to child's pose for a moment. Feel the earth. Feel your shins ground down. Maybe your head touches, maybe it doesn't. Walk the hands out in front of you. Feel the stretch through your shoulders if that's comfortable. If not, try a different vector of movement. You can flip your palms open or take your arms wider or soften your elbows closer back toward your ribs. Let the breath travel along the back side of your body. And then up onto all fours. Now start moving through some cat-cows, arching the back and rounding the back. Move with breath. Remember, keeping our mouths gently closed. See if you can feel the movement of your vertebrae. Remember that lymph does not have a pump like a heart pumping through your circulatory system. The lymph fluid in your body relies on breath and movement in order to flow. So the more you move your body, the more your lymph is flowing. Inhale, reach the left arm up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Come into a twist here. Allow the shoulder to drop. Hips come back. Relax the neck. Soften the skull. Maybe gaze toward the floor so you know your neck is relaxed. Find the breath and let the back rib cage open to the breath. Saturating the back of the lungs now. Inhale, reach that arm all the way back up. Place the hand down onto the ground and repeat on the second side. The arm comes up in the air. Exhale and slide that shoulder down. Gaze toward the floor. Breathing well. Finding your breath. All right. When you're ready, lift that arm back up in the air. Place the hand down onto the ground. Move the spine around any way you want. You can sway through your hips like a wagging dog or a moving fish. You can move and roll through your shoulders, any movement in your neck. All right, and then back to child's pose. We're going to flow through from here a little bit. So remember, the lymph node loves to open and close the pits of your body. So as you drop your hips down, feel into that compression in the backs of the knees, the fronts of the groins. Inhale, rise up onto your shins, arms coming up to the sky. Exhale, coming back down. Arms can be at your sides or overhead, whichever feels good. And rising up. Inhale and lift. Exhale. Let's do it one more time. Inhale to rise on up. Exhale to lower yourself back down. Bring your hands back out in front of you and lift to dog pose. Now, once you're here, see if you can feel that yielding like we did on all fours. See if you can still do it on all fours here. Maybe drop weight into the right hand and right foot, and then rebound over to the left side. Just know where you are touching the ground. Give yourself to the earth, and then feel the earth give itself to you. So see if you can feel the yield, and then push off the earth and reach through the body. Try not to let the reach lose the yield. Connect the yield and the reach to each other. Relax your skull. See if you can feel the four corners of your palms. The really just two corners, the big toes and pinky toe mounds. So our heels are usually not touching in this pose. Find that sense of length and extension through the spine, and enjoy the head being below the heart. Breathe through your sinuses. Notice the diaphragm. Notice the big space for your ribs. All right, then let's walk our feet forward and come into Uttanasana Fold. Let your head relax. You can bend your knees as much as you want to. Find the breathing. All right, inhale for a halfway lift. You can hold the floor or blocks or your legs somewhere. And then exhale, bend the knees a fair amount, kind of drop down into the hips, and then try it again. Inhale, lift the sit bones, straighten the legs, lengthen the spine. Exhale, drop down. Feel the feet, four corners now, big toe mounds, pinky toe mounds, inner and outer heel. Root to rise. So root your feet and then drop your hips down and rise on up. Bring the arms to the sky, open the chest, lean back if it feels nice to do so. And then exhale and relax your hands. Shake out your hands. We're going to do a little self-percussion, which is really good for getting the lymph moving through your body and good for your lungs. So let's start with some loose fists, and we're going to, do a little Tarzan. And so I'm using this portion of my fist to hit against me, but you can also do cups, kind of just scoop your hand. So whatever feels comfortable for your body. Okay. And try to feel into all the little nooks and crannies of your lungs as you do this. Remember, your ribs go all around to the back and the sides, so try not to just stay in the upper front chest. Any little bit of fisting that you can do on the back. I know you can't reach your whole lungs. If we were together in class, I would have you partner up and do this with each other. All right, and then relax out. We're going to do the whole body, but first just feel the vibration massage you just gave your lungs. Breathe through the nose. All right, now we're going to add the rest of the body. You can use scoops, and we're just going to slap our skin. Okay, and smacking everywhere you can smack. Your kidney area in the back. However you like to do it. Lay down your legs. Well, don't hesitate to do all, it feels, your body knows that you're not going to hurt yourself by slapping yourself. So just get some stimulation. And then don't forget you have a head. Be very gentle around your face. Little gentle smacks on your face, very gentle. Don't forget your throat. And now we're going to tap our thymus gland, which is right at the top of your sternum. Let's just tap here. Take some deep, slow breaths. And then move out to right along your collarbone edges. Your lymph, the main lymph vessels that drain back into the cardiovascular system, all of your lymph starts in your tissues, and then it all comes to these two spots right along your collarbones and drains back into your blood vessels here. So let's just give a little energy there. Okay, and then let go and shake out your hands. Find your breath. What if you did that every morning when you woke up? Would it help you kind of feel alive a little bit? Okay, now the last thing we're gonna do before we start doing regular yoga is we're gonna bounce. Okay, now bouncing is also really good for your lymphatic system. So if you have happy joints, you can also jump, okay, if you want, or you can keep your feet on the ground. And your bouncing doesn't have to just look like anything in specific. You know, you can kind of like just jiggle your body, breathe, move your head. If you want to jump, you can jump. All these things are really good for moving your lymph around in your body. All right, and then just pause for a moment. Feel the aliveness, ground yourself, feel the roots. Yield your feet, soften your knees. Breathe into the pelvic floor, let your diaphragm release. Okay, deep breath in, arms coming up. Open your chest, lean back, and then exhale. And float forward. Halfway lift, spine gets a little longer, hands on legs or blocks or floor. Exhale, melt again. Let's step the left foot back. The right foot is coming forward to a lunge. Get used to being, in a new position here. Feel the hip flexors open up in that back leg. Feel the extension of your spine. And then let's start to move. So hands on blocks can be really helpful for this. You don't over around your back. So you want to bend your front knee and lift your chest. And then straighten-ish. Doesn't have to go all the way straight. Your front leg. Drop your chin toward your chest. Back and forth. Keep the eye on the prize. Is what we're trying to do is move lymph and breath. So try to let your practice feel fluid, mobile. All right, let's ground through our legs. Pause here for a moment so you feel the yielding of your feet. And then when you're ready, rise up. Where do you want your arms to land? They don't have to be upright over your head. They can be anywhere you want them to be. What gives you a sense of capacity for breathing, a sense of grounding? You can soften the back knee into a teeny micro bend if you want, or even a little bit more. What's going to help your pelvis to stabilize instead of tip the bowl forward? Okay, breathe your way here. Okay, we're going to twist so you can take the hands out to the side or hands on hips. See if you can feel the chest broaden and open. Full breaths. Breathe through your sinuses. Let that nitric oxide be present. And then back to center. Walk the back foot forward. Come into Uttanasana and fold. Relax your neck. Melt the base of your skull. Halfway lift. The spine is growing. Thigh bones back. Exhale. Melt again. Step your other foot back. So now left foot is forward, right foot back. Open the chest. Ground into your legs. See if you can get comfortable into the yielding. And let's start to move when you're ready. So straightening the front leg a bit. And bending it a bit. Stay inside the rhythm of your breath. Try not to hold your breath. Try not to skimp on the breath. Full and deep. Collarbones really broad. Try not to crunch them up. Remember, this is our, the pathways where our lymph returns to our cardiovascular system. We want that space to be open and free. All right, and then when you're ready, ground your legs and rise up to crescent lunge on this side. Open yourself up. Maybe your chest is a little broad. See if you can, if you tend to lean back in this posture, be very mindful that you're not compressing the lumbar spine. Find the sense of freedom in your chest, openness in your chest without compression in your back. Root into 2 feet. Can you yield and push off your feet and reach through your spine? All right, let's twist on this side. So arms can be out to the side, or your hands can rest on your hips, or you can even have your hands over your heart, wherever you want to be. Come into your lunge. Breathe. Twists give, a nice little compression the obliques and the diaphragm working. There's a lot of kind of like a squeeze, release that can happen there. Arms coming back up, hands down onto the ground, back foot comes forward, fold in half. Halfway lift, you can put your hands up on blocks if you want. Exhale, and melt back down. Push off your feet, rise all the way up, arms coming to the sky, and then release your hands down. Turn to the long edge of your mat and let your legs go wider. Okay, we're just going to get a little bit of yielding here. So we want to drop into one foot, cross over and drop into the other. So just kind of go back and forth, feeling your weight transfer from one side to the other. And you can go fast or you can go slow. Stay inside the breath. Start to get used to getting a little lower, kind of using your strength. Feel the spine lift. And then we're going to slow the movement down, and we're just going to come into a neutral centered place. Feet grounding, four corners of your feet rooting into the earth. Yield, push, and reach. Feel the spine grow. Spin your feet so toes kind of try to turn out, heels try to turn forward. So you get a lot of work happening in your glutes and in your legs. And then rise up to a starfish. Now, if you get dizzy doing this, really small movements instead of big movements here. So you can just kind of like come here and here. You don't have to go deep. But we're going to flow through some goddess postures here with breath. Inhale, starfish your body out. Take a deep breath in again. And as you exhale, goddess. Rise up. Try to have a little force on your exhales. So we're trying to strengthen our diaphragms here. If you get dizzy, stop, okay? You don't have to be so forceful in the depth of the pose or in the depth of your breath. Two more. Hang out down there. Uh-oh, you were thinking we were going back up. Okay, so hang out down here, root into the feet, open the chest. Okay, and then rise back up. We're going to do this a little bit differently. We're going to start just with straight legs. So reach up into one side, open the rib cage, and then come back to center and open the other side. Now, once again, slow this way down. If you're at all short of breath, or if you feel dizzy or lightheaded or anything, you can just stay in this plane. And if you're ready for a little bit more mobility, we're gonna do this in goddess pose. So come back down, and you can put an elbow on the knee if you want, or you can put a hand on the knee. And if this is too much, you stay with the standing version, okay? So find your breath. Where do you want to inhale? Where do you want to exhale? The most important thing you're doing is breathing. More important than a goddess hold, even more important than the rib expansion. Okay, one more. On the side you didn't start on. And then stand up straight and tall. And then spin back to the front side of your mat for dog pose. All right, so notice the heat building in your body. Notice the movement of all the fluids in your body. Fill up the lungs. This beautiful posture, dog pose, has so much capacity for breath. The diaphragm more naturally falls toward the lungs, which helps you to have a full exhale. Come forward into a plank. Holding yourself steady. You can always put your knees down on the ground if you need support. Shoulders are away from the ears. Integrate. Now, because we have to use a lot of core, Our breath has to go out to the sides more. So feel your rib cage expand left and right. All right, and then put the knees down onto the ground and slowly lower yourself to the floor. Roll the shoulders a few times before we come up to Cobra so that you feel mobile. And now let's remember those pathways at the collarbones where the thoracic duct and the, where you have the main vessels of your lymphatic system drain into your cardiovascular system, into the subclavian veins. Let's take a deep breath, open the collarbones up, stretch them broad, Cobra pose. And then exhale and melt back down. Twice more. Think less about overarching the back and more about stretching the collarbones. And then relax. One more time. Finding the breath. Exhale. Come up onto all fours and move things around. Move your spine, swish and sway. Feel that deep compression of the groins and knees as you come back towards child's pose. Deep breath into the back of your body, all the way to your sacrum. Okay, we're going to walk our hands over to the right side of our mat and feel the fingertips all the way through the shoulder, the ribs, the low back into the sit bone. Open up that side body for breath. All right, come back to center. Inch over to the other side. Weight into our hips. Feel the stretch through the whole side of your body. The compression in your knees and hips, and the openness in the ribs and shoulder. Relax the base of your skull. Are you still breathing through your nose? Okay, come back. We're going to flip over onto our back. We're going back up for some more standing poses, but for right now, come onto your back. Your feet are grounded on the floor. Feet are hip width apart, knees are bent. Feel the roots of your feet. Okay, we're going to rise up to a bridge pose. You can always take a block between your thighs if you need so, and then roll onto the tops of the shoulders. See if you can broaden across your collarbones. Feel the compression and the openness at the same time. So we don't want to push the back of our neck into the earth. Have the weight of the back of your head into the earth. And our chin and our chest are finding each other. So there's a compression there, but there's also an openness, like highways. Your collarbones are highways, stretching out left and right. Press your arms into the ground, either the goalpost arms or robot arms, or your whole arm down into the earth. Root the four corners of your feet. Where do you lean? Are you an outer foot leaner? Are you an inner foot leaner? Four corners. Now expand the diaphragm, expand the lower ribs. Get yourself open to your breath. All right, and then relax and melt onto the ground. Let's windshield wiper our knees and turn your head in the opposite direction. So as knees go left, head goes right. And then back up and over to the other side, finding your breath. Finding your breath. All right, let's starfish your body open. Limbs broad, wiggle fingers and toes. Exhale. Knees in, give a good compression. One more time, expand wide. Exhale. Draw it in. When you're ready, roll over onto your side and come on up to dog pose. Keep breathing through your nose, in and out. If something's got to give, breathe out through your mouth. Try to always maintain, at the very least, breathing in through your nose. If you can just keep your mouth shut and breathe everything through your nose, that's even better. But sometimes we get a little panicky If you're very used to mouth breathing, so let your exhales come through your mouth so you get some comfort. Remember, breath hunger is okay, breath starvation is not. Hunger makes a great sauce. You know, like when you're a little more hungry for your food, doesn't your food taste better? When you're a little hungry for your breath, doesn't your breath taste better? Okay, let's reach the right leg up in the air. Stack open the right hip over the left. Try not to collapse through the left armpit. Lift up, lift your left thigh back. Breathe well. And then relax back to neutral, pelvis square. Reach that leg in the air. Take a deep breath in, compress knee to chest. Like a plank pose. Inhale, bring it on back. All right, and let's bring the foot forward now. Come into a lunge again. Open up and turn to the side of your mat. Okay, let's come into Parsvokanasana. Remember, your elbow can be on the knee or your hand can be on a block. Whatever feels good for your body. Ground into your legs. So yield, push, and reach. Open up the rib cage. Feel how much space you have for breathing. And then keep your legs and come into a reverse warrior and open up the other side of your lungs. Okay, stand up straight. Find your breath. And when you're ready, Virabhadrasana. We're going to flow here. Okay, so Vira 2. Bend the knee. Inhale, arms up, straight leg. Exhale. Hands come into center. Straight legs. Exhale, Vira 2. Each of those one more time. Arms up, legs straight. Breath in. Exhale. Ground four corners of both feet. Inhale to your chest. Exhale. Relax the shoulders. All right, and then when you're ready, let's swing back to the front of the mat again. Dog pose. Enjoy your breath. Inhale, come forward into a plank. Enjoy your breath. Feel into that sideways breathing. The full rib cage all the way up to your armpit and down to the bottom ribs, expanding out side to side. Put your knees down if you need to support. Find the floor. If it's comfortable, interlace your hands behind your back. If that's not comfortable, have your hands on the ground, palms facing the floor. You choose. Inhale, lift up. Legs 2. Come into locust pose. Back of the neck stays long. Let your diaphragm rock your whole body. It's like diaphragmatic push-ups. All right, melt. Turn your head one way or the other. Pick up your feet and just rock your feet left and right. Turn your head the other way. Keep rocking your feet, releasing your back. All right, now just lie here for a moment. Head can be underneath your palms if you want, or staying on the side. And feel your prone body breath. Of course, if this is not comfortable, you might bring a knee up. There's lots of ways to subtly change things, but you could also come onto all fours. Feel the breath, breathing through your nose. How does your spine change shape as you breathe? All right, now let's find all fours. Move your spine around. Sway your hips. Move through your shoulders. Maybe a cat-cow, whatever feels delicious in the body. And then eventually we're going to find our way to dog pose again. Bend your knees a fair amount here. Root to rise. So rooting into the earth and then rise through your spine. Feel the yielding of your four limbs on the ground. And when you're ready, left leg lifting up. Stack open the left hip if you want. Your knee can bend or your leg can be straight. Try not to collapse into the right side of the body. Lift under your armpit like you have a hot air balloon under your right armpit and in your right hip crease. And then square things up again. Use your glutes. Exhale, knee to your chest. All your breath out. Inhale, bring it on back. And then swing that foot forward. Okay, we're going to rise up. Turn to the side of your mat. If you're using a block for Parsvokanasana, use a block. If you'd like to put your elbow on your knee, that's a choice too. So you do you. Maybe at some point in your practice, you're just resting. Maybe you're like, no, I want to do child's pose right now. And that's so fine. So remember, always we're caring for ourselves for the moment that the need arises. All right, so breathing through your nose. Fill your side lungs. Ground your legs. Feet rooting, open the chest. Okay, and then we're going to come up and reverse this warrior. Open your ribs. Okay, and then straighten your leg for a moment. Take a deep breath in, warrior two. Now, if you're dizzy at all, or if your body's like, oh, I need a break, take a break. There's always ways to modify everything. Your practice is for you. It's not for the yesterday you or the tomorrow you. It's for this you right here. So find your posture, ground, and then let's start to move. Arms up, legs straight. Exhale. Feel that movement of lymph. Feel the movement of breath. Hands to the heart. Arms up overhead. Maybe my breath is faster. I'm talking, so my breath probably is faster. So you go where you go. Your breath, your movement. And then we're going to hang out here. Just for a moment. Ground your feet. Soften your shoulders. All right, and then straighten your legs. Turn your legs to the long edge of your mat. Perhaps you need blocks for this. Maybe you touch the floor. So you can go as far deep into this pose as you want. Your hands can be forward like dog pose arms or underneath you. Soften your knees. So a little bit of shin bones forward and thigh bones back. So your knees don't get caught in the crossfire and hyperextend. Relax your body. Feel the inversion. Melt your head. Stay breathing through your nose. All right, and then heel toe your feet in and come to child's pose. So drop down in. You can have your arms wherever you want them and your legs wherever you want them. Maybe you like your legs close together or far apart. All right, we're going to come onto our back. Bring our knees to our chest and rock a little bit. Time to cool down. So let your body know that. Let your body release. Start to ease into the floor. Starfish your limbs wide. Take a breath, wiggle fingers and toes, and then knees come into chest. Let's cross. Okay, one thing you can do if you want for this is you can get your pelvis up on a blanket or two, or you can be on the ground. I'm going to do it on a blanket because I like the way it feels. Now, if you want, you're going to use a block then if you're on the blankets. Okay, so we're going to bring our right thigh over our left thigh for a moment. And just find your way. So you can be on the floor or on blankets, whatever you choose. Drawing the knees toward the chest. Just stretching your hip a little bit. Feel the compression. Stay open in your breath. Relax the base of the skull into the earth. Shoulders too. We're going to unwind our legs out like a V. Take a deep breath. And then switch. Other leg on top. Knees toward chest. Hold on to your shins or your knees. You can even hold your feet, which will change the stretch in your hips. Still breathing through your nose. As your breath gets quieter, sometimes we don't pay as much attention to it, so stay present. Okay, let's put our feet on the ground. Pelvis can be up on a blanket. We're just going to scooch to the right with our hips and then bring your knees back up, and we're going to drop our knees to the left. Now, this is where you need a block. So if I'm on 2 blankets, and the block on the middle height seems to work, but you do you. You just want to make sure that your shin is supported if your pelvis is higher than your chest. If you're on the floor, then your legs can just drop over to the side. So you find what's right for your body. Breathing well. And remember, you can always straighten the top leg and grab on to your big toe or your shin. You keep your knees together. That just gives a little bit more stretch to the outer hip and the IT band. So you do you. How's the breath? Are you able to melt into the earth? All right, let's come back. Neutral, find neutral for a breath. And then we're going to scoot our hips to the left and drop our knees over to the right. So remember those collarbones. Want to stay open. You can turn your head if you want, or you can keep your neck neutral. Breathing well. And if you want to straighten your top leg, keep the knees together. You can hold on to your big toe or your pants or your calf somewhere. Your choice. And then come back and stay on the blanket if you want to for happy baby pose, or if you're on the floor, happy baby pose, or just knees to your chest. Just think how good Shavasana is going to feel in a moment. When you do a lot of strong breath work and mobile, moving the body in and out of flexion and extension, it's tiring when you're breathing correctly. If that's a new sensation for you, it can be exhausting to train yourself to breathe well. So give yourself that credit when we move towards Shavasana. So before we do so, roll over onto your side and sit on your blanket. We're almost there to lying down. Okay. Get up on the edge of something so that you're comfortable. Once you find your posture, we're going to do some alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shashana. So same ring finger and thumb and ring finger of your right hand. Of course, you can make a different choice. If you have a better hand placement that works for you, that's great. We're at the top of our nostrils, not the tips of our nostrils. We're not pressing so hard that we move our head or that we kind of really press into the septum of the nose. It's just enough to block the nostril off. We're going to start by breathing in through the left side. And if you're congested and this doesn't work, you try blowing your nose first. If still doesn't work, then maybe go back to the breathing we did in the beginning of class. So breathing in through the left. And then closing off the left, opening the right, breathing out through the right. And then breathing in through the right. So the way it goes is you breathe out, then you breathe in, and then you switch sides. Out, in, and switch. Out, in, and switch. So alternate nostril breathing not only strengthens the diaphragm and gives the air into the deep chambers of the sinuses, but now we also have brain gym going on. We have ping pong going on, where we're bouncing back and forth between the left and right hemispheres of the brain. And this is really good for us. So do what you can. The neck is soft, the shoulders are soft, the collarbones are broad. You can tip your head down just a bit. Let the forehead relax, the brain is relaxing. Soften your tongue and your jaw. Keep that bloom of the spine. Ground the pelvis and bloom the spine. Bow slightly so that your head is relaxed. Try to bring the breath from deep inside. So, we're not just trying to pull breath from the nostril tip. Notice the deeper place where you bring breath in from. Really, it's from the diaphragm. Can you feel that? Can you feel that the movement of the diaphragm is what pulls the breath into the body, brings the breath into the body? Now, the next time you come to breathing out through your left, you can place your hands down and just breathe. Enjoy the beautiful chambers of breath. Think of your sinuses as these gorgeous cathedrals. Every molecule of oxygen is invited, welcomed, greeted by nitric oxide. The lungs receive, give away whatever you don't need. All right, so let's find Shavasana. As you're ready, maybe you'd like to just sit here and not lay down. Maybe you'd like to lay down. Maybe you'd like to have your legs up on a couch or a chair. However you want to move into your relaxation. This is a well-deserved relaxation. Every practice is a well-deserved Shavasana, but Shavasana is not, try not to skip it, be fully here for it. So as you lie down, make sure you're very comfortable. Scan. Do you need props anywhere? Do you need warmth? Remember, lymph loves warmth. As you settle, can you drop your limbs? Can you have that sense that the bones are weighted? The yielding can happen so deeply. The breath is free in the body. Relax all the muscles in your face. And stay easy in your limbs. Let's begin to deepen your breathing again. Remember to breathe through your nose. Let's find our way into some movement. What feels good? Let's eventually find our side and come up to sit when you're ready. Let's place our hands together. And just know the beauty of your practice, the gifts you have given yourself by being present and moving your body on your mat. So what we've cultivated, let's offer. Let's send our energy Anywhere that feels right to someone you know who needs your care, your love. Namaste. Thank you, everyone. Blessings on the day.